And the U.S. is launching airstrikes against Iran-backed Houthi targets in Yemen over the past 2 days. U.S. Central Command says the precision strikes hit a Houthi command and control facility and weapons and storage facilities that have been used to attack U.S. warships in the Red Sea. The Houthis have also recently been firing missiles at Israel. Let's now bring in retired U.S. Navy Commander Kirk Lippold, former commanding officer of the USS Cole when it was attacked by al-Qaeda terrorists in Yemen back in 2000. Commander, an honor to have you on the show. Thank you.
Good morning, Markie. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you as well. So, Commander, the Houthis have been targeting U.S. ships in the Red Sea. They're vowing to keep attacking Israel as long as there is no ceasefire deal in Gaza. Will these U.S. airstrikes help derail this terror group at all?
They obviously haven't for the past year. So, quite frankly, I think the United States needs to take a new approach. And it's what a lot of people are referring to as solve the problem, not the symptom. And you have to remember the Houthis are supported by and armed by Iran. And until the United States and other countries are really willing to confront Iran over this in a more forthright manner, whether it be through sanctions, more diplomatic pressure, or last case, military, we are not going to solve this at all. And the Houthis are going to continue to impact maritime shipping in the Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden.
Yeah. And expand a little bit more on what that response should look like, and also what a strong enough counterstrike against Iran would look like that wouldn't absolutely just ignite an all-out war across the region.
Well, I think, Markie, what you need to look at is war should be, the kinetic operations against Iran proper should be the last resort. There are a number of things the United States could do between now and then with our allies. First and foremost, a maritime interdiction regime. Everything that enters or leaves Yemen needs to be stopped, and the vessel needs to be inspected, similar to what we were doing in Iraq following the first Gulf War in the early 1990s. That would be number one, to make sure that nothing gets in. Second, sanctions. Put the sanctions back into place. Maybe they should be as severe or more severe than what was in the original Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action or Iran nuclear agreement. But quite frankly, it is time to begin to hit the economy and make sure that the Iranian leadership is paying a price for doing this. And then last would be, failing all those, if they cannot stop the Houthis, then take military action, and they should be precise and targeted against any command and control within Iran that is aiding and abetting the Houthis, take out the facilities that are actually producing the weapons. And you could get a twofer in some ways, because obviously you take out the drone facilities in Iran, that also impacts Russia and their invasion into Ukraine, but also the missile targeting as the warhead facilities, targeting the components that actually make up those missiles. Those are the types of things that could be very exact, very precise, with minimal impact, and avoid that escalation that everyone is worried about.
Commander, the other thing I wanted to ask you about, just the collapse of Syria's Assad regime was obviously seen as a setback for Iran's power across the region. So what are you anticipating there? Will they now double down in funding the Houthis to carry out their plans?
I think that Iran is really trying to make an assessment right now. They've clearly been knocked back with Israel after October 7th, in that Hamas no longer exists. Hezbollah has fallen out. Now you're seeing Bashar al-Assad in Syria fall out, and he's sitting back in Moscow right now. I think that when you look at the Houthis, that is their last real toehold. At one point, Iran essentially had the Middle East encircled through their proxies. That is no longer the case. So while they may double down on the Houthis, again, what we need to do is look at how can we best impact the Iranian leadership to make sure they cannot continue to support them. And that might be the maritime interdiction operations and those sanctions that I mentioned. But when it comes to Syria, right now, actions are going to speak stronger than words. You have to remember, this is an al-Qaeda-based terrorist group that has taken over. They cannot be trusted, and they must demonstrate that they can become a responsible member in the international community and not just another toehold for terrorist groups to spread terrorism around the world.
Yeah, it's been a grave year. We'll see what changes and develops in 2025, especially with a new administration on the horizon. Commander Kirk Lippold, thank you so much, sir, and Happy New Year to you.
Thank you, Markie. Happy New Year to you and your crew as well.
Thank you. We'll talk to you again soon. Thanks for watching, everybody. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. Also, don't forget to click that red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.